Come on. Ah,
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the only podcast produced by three two-time winners of IMSA's Spirit of the Race Award. You're tuned into the Check Engine podcast. We're hosted through Anchor.fm and streamed worldwide on all those platforms you use to listen to your favorite podcasts. My name is Nick. Tristan and Andrew are here. Guys, it was a really nice day today. Did you get outside and enjoy it?
I definitely did. I made... Oh man, this is just like a total dad brag, whatever. I made the best smoked ribs I've ever made in my whole life. It's actually the best thing I've ever made in my whole life. And for anyone wondering, the secret is to use the cheapest rub possible. Find something as cheap as possible. Don't overpay, because better ingredients make it worse in my experience.
It's backwards from what people might think.
I did. That is another thing that I do, but I'm sure, Tristan, you don't, because you're kind of a sauce guy. I usually buy like a bottled type thing because the consistency is so regular between bottles, right? So when I make it myself, who knows what you're going to get.
I use a very particular one, in fact. Riffs.
Never heard of it.
Yep, it's out of Minnesota, actually. We've got spicy and not so spicy versions. All of their barbecue sauces are named after guitar riffs, Nick. Actually, I think you'd appreciate it.
Oh, I love it.
Sure. They're clever. They're kind of normal. Yes, they're kind of normal. You know, sweet and smoky is sweet child of mine, obviously.
Is it of mine or O apostrophe mine?
It's actually O apostrophe. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what the song is. So.
Yep. So yeah, I do sauce them, and I do use the bottle, which will make every other snooty grill / barbecue / smoking person cry a little, but I don't care because my ribs are delicious. Come try them.
Hell yeah, man! It was great. I had a great time.
That's awesome. I was outside a little bit too. Actually spent most of the day. The last 2 days outside. We actually, in the condo complex where I live, someone drew a pickleball court because the space in between, like from my building to the building across from me, is like perfect size for one. So I learned to and spent probably 2 or 3 hours yesterday playing pickleball. So got a little run in, a little sweat, enjoyed the weather. It was great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been playing badminton and tending the garden and cooking like an old British person, minus the fact that I did, in fact, what I cooked was buffalo cheeseburgers. So, yeah.
Ooh, nice. That sounds good too. But guys, I mean, we're not a cooking or yard game podcast. We are a car podcast. So we need to let the folks know what the topic of tonight's episode is. Andrew, tee us up.
Well, this was a week or two ago. I think it was just before we started our little Olympics pair of episodes there. I saw somewhere, maybe it was... I do like to remember sources as much as possible. I think maybe it was like Road and Track or something, posted an article about a mansion in Colorado that was for sale. And the spectacular thing about this is that it had a 100-car garage attached to it. So today, no, just kidding. That is initially what I wanted to do, actually. But when I sent it to Tristan, he told me it was stupid. And came up with a much better idea.
Actually, what happened is I was stupid and misunderstood him and went, "Oh, you mean this?" And he goes, "Actually."
Oh, that's right. But anyways, his idea was better. So he said, well, what about dream garages? So what we're going to do tonight is design our dream garage, the building where you would keep your collection of dream cars, because this, the 100 car garage is a warehouse. It's not that exciting, but hopefully we'll come up with something better here. And then of course, because we're a car podcast, we'll put a dozen or so cars in there, because we're not an interior design podcast yet.
Yeah, just spin-off coming soon. You heard it here first.
That's right.
Check IKEA podcast.
I hate that name.
I know, right. Me too.
So we are garage designers this evening. But before we get into that, does anybody have any pace slaps, quick news tidbits, neat cars that they've seen along the way? Anything to jump into quick there?
I have a strange car news, which normally...
You always have strange car news.
Yeah, but usually it's like, oh, look at this thing that no one would ever do to this, like the, slammed and wastegated cruise or weird things like that. Like, but this one was like quite the rig. It was a Dodge Magnum.
Okay.
With a giant roof box on the roof rack, towing a trailer made from the back half of a pickup truck. And I can only assume all of these things were full because it was like slammed down onto the suspension stops and like going the slowest ever. And I was like, I wonder why. And that's as far as I got, really, was just like, why?
Well, that was my first question as you said this. Was the first one that came to my head was, what would someone with that kind of towing setup actually be hauling? What was weighing that vehicle down and that trailer down? It
was full of mercury.
And there was definitely stuff. And there was definitely stuff inside the car too.
Right.
Mercury.
Yeah, I don't know. A very, very,
how do you think
like
they get that
strange car.
Huh?
I would assume that would not be the most efficient way to do it.
Just loose mercury sloshing around and also not sloshing at the same time.
Like inside a tarp.
Wait, okay, mercury's silly, I will admit, but what if it was non-Newtonian fluid?
Oobleck.
Yeah, yes, that's what it is. Yeah, Oobleck.
Well, he'd be safe if he got in an accident.
Exactly.
I guess.
That's that stuff that flows but doesn't, like when
if you hit it, it turns solid.
No, it flows, but yeah, it turns solid when you slap it around. I'm serious. Look it up on YouTube.
I know I can make it. I know all about it.
Oh, okay. Jesus. You invented it. You are Newton.
No, I'm Oobleck.
Meet our co-host, Tristan Oobleck.
Yeah, exactly.
I am Oobleck. When you slap me, I get. Never mind.
If you slap me, do I not? Never mind.
Oh no!
We're also not a YouTube channel science podcast. Let's move on.
All right,
That's
so
true.
I saw a couple of different Civics over the course of the past few days.
I know we're a car podcast, but I thought he said civets, like the animal. Anyway, proceed. Maybe I'm just going deaf. Who knows?
Oh man. This episode is off to a fantastic start.
We're
goofy night tonight.
It's yeah. So I saw a Civic Type R, and then just today I saw a Civic Si. So two different models, obviously, or two different trims, I should say, but both of them, and I had never seen this color really anywhere on any car outside of a racetrack. But it was so baffling to me that over the course of 3 days, I see both a Civic Type R and a Civic SI in that Volt Racing highlighter yellow.
Yeah. Yep. I've seen a few of those, maybe the same ones, but yeah.
It
was awesome.
Wait, they made the R in that color? Or you think it was a wrap?
I think it might have been a wrap. I don't think it comes in
It
that.
must have been.
I can go to Honda's website and do a quick build while we're going through this and try to figure it out.
I think it's like the regular colors on the actual car. I think it's white, red, blue, and
That
maybe black.
Gunmetal gray.
I know the SI has that really, really bright green.
Yeah, that's like the candy apple green.
Yeah, maybe.
That must be a wrap.
I'm going through. I'm going to do a build right now and just try to pick the colors. So if anybody else has a pace lap while I do this real quick, I'm just looking right now. Here we go. So it had to be a wrap because there's Boost Blue, Championship White, Crystal Black, Polished Metal, Sonic Gray, or Rally Red. So
I got silver too.
Definitely a custom wrap, but whatever it was, custom or not, it was awesome. Like you could literally pick it out like across 4 parking lots as I was moving, on the road. Fantastic.
Nice.
Anybody have anything else? Andrew, normally you come prepared.
I don't have a single thing. I just looking through. Oh wait, no. I do have one thing kind of left over from last week that I didn't talk about. So obviously, everything's moved online, and in these uncertain times, everything's kind of moved online, including car auctions. And one thing that I was surprised to learn is that last week, I just forgot that Mecum did an auction online a couple weeks ago, and the automobile was listing the cars that didn't sell, because normally I forget what it was. They have an incredibly high, I think they call it like a hammer rate or something, cars that sell either during the active bidding or meet reserve or, get an agreed upon price after. I think it's like 87, almost 90%. Like it's super, super high. And I think this auction was somewhere around 50 or 60, like noticeably lower. But one of the cars really caught my eye because I can't understand how it didn't meet its unbelievably low price tag. So one of the cars that went across the auction block was a 92 Dodge Viper RT10, which is a nice little car, very cool. But it also belonged to John Elway, and it had 8,000 miles on it. But it didn't meet its reserve, with the highest bid being $42,000.
What was the reserve?
I don't really know. But the other reference they made, and this is not a suitable reference necessarily, but Lee Iacocca's Viper sold for $285,000 at Bonham's a year or two ago.
Yeah, but Lee Iacocca is the automotive industry.
No, I know. I'm just saying, and in that's kind of what I'm pointing out there. Like $42,000 for John Elway's Viper. That seems pretty good. I don't know.
Seems pretty reasonable.
I feel like it's weird for that to sell for more. Noticeably more than that, maybe in like the 45, maybe even 50,000. But I feel like it's weird that it didn't go, or they didn't agree on that, because that makes me think that the price was way higher.
So wait, Andrew, did the article say is John Elway himself selling this Viper, or does someone else have it now and they're just trying to use the fact that it was John Elway's as like a selling point? Do we know? Does it matter?
It doesn't actually say. Which leads me to believe that probably someone else, like you said, someone else owns it and is trying to sell it. But, I guess celebrity car has got to be worth something. I don't know. I guess I can see this one, the more I think about it, from both angles. But still, 42 seems I mean, that's way more than you would spend on a 93 RT10 anywhere else. You know what I mean? And I feel like it might be asking a little much. It's just John Elway, you know?
That's kind of my thing. Like, I get the celebrity car thing, but like, there's a lot more celebrities that would have more weight. Like, if it was one of Jay Leno's cars, for instance, or if it was, obviously like Lee Iacocca or something from Carroll Shelby, or I'm just trying to think of any other
auction taking place.
Sorry, what
online.
was that?
It was a Mecum auction online.
I was trying to figure out like if like, you know, but if it had been set up previously and they like moved it online, maybe a bunch of people who were registered for it or whatever were from somewhere that didn't like Denver. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm sure that this was in place of some previously scheduled event. I just don't know which one necessarily.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what other athletes would probably pull more money on that, because you're right. Like, John Elway's Viper or John Elway's any car really doesn't move the needle personally for me, but I'm trying to think of like what other athlete would. Like,
is like older
Tiger Woods,
obviously
this is Tiger Woods' car, or this is
LeBron, obviously.
Sure. Tom Brady.
I mean, probably Tom Brady. Although, funny you should say that. I did notice recently, I didn't save it, so don't quote me on the specifics of it. He is selling a customized SUV of his.
Yes,
I want to say it's a Cadillac. Looks like a
maybe
tank.
one that he is it one that he won for one of the MVPs from the Super Bowl?
No, I don't think so.
Speaking of that, speaking of the Escalade, just kind of bouncing around on that topic in particular, I was shown an interesting ad that somebody put together if the Escalade had come out in 1959. Mm-hmm. And this guy did like a render based on the 59 Suburban, like the Escalade is now based on the regular Suburban for the most part, Suburban and Tahoe. And it was like really well done. He like put together like a film with, you know, fake 50s film grain and everything else, and, you know, 50s announcer voice. It was actually pretty well done. And I was like, you know, I could actually see this being a thing at the time. So like, you know, a new wave of, you know, automotive luxury. But it was like, okay, yeah, actually, you know, I actually buy that. It's kind of funny and cool. Just reminded me of that when you were talking about his Escalade.
If you can find it,
sound cool. Yeah,
we'll definitely share it on the pages so people get an idea of it. Does anybody have anything else, or do we want to dive right into garage design?
Yeah, I think we're ready.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we are going to design and decorate our dream garages right after this. Hey everybody, we're back and we're about to get into tonight's main topic. But before we do, we'd like to remind you real quick how to get a hold of us if you feel so inclined. We do have our very own website. It is checkenginepodcast.com. And there we have an email address. It is inbox@checkenginepodcast.com. We're also on all the major social media channels or sites. We're on Facebook if you search Check Engine Podcast. Andrew patrols the Twitter sphere for us. Andrew, where can they find us there?
Find us at Check Engine Pod.
And Tristan, the Instagram post you just put up yesterday is getting great traction. Where can they go to see that?
At Check Engine Pod. First, they will usually work their way out to Twitter and Facebook eventually, but if you want to see it hot off the press, at Check Engine Pod on Instagram.
Yeah, and it's just basically we're feeling melancholy because we should be recording an on-location piece for you guys from Belle Isle, but that race got canceled. So, little member berries from other races we've attended before. So, folks, be sure to like, follow, share, post, DM, just reach out how and when you can. You can ask us questions to answer on the air. You can let us know what you like or don't like about how we record this stuff. You can give us ideas for episode topics, any of that kind of stuff. So we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Now, to get back to the show, Andrew, garage design, do we call it 101? Or
yeah, I guess something like that.
Do you want to start us off, or how do we want to get this thing going?
Sure, I can. Well, let's see. I think it's best to start with a description of the actual property itself, right? And for me, I guess there's kind of two tiers. There's like ultimate tier, of course, which would be, I mean, you need a good location for a good garage, right? So it can't just be attached to your house. That's kind of lame. That's kind of passe. And obviously the dream would be to have your garage in the ultimate hangout location, an airplane hangar.
It's funny.
No, I'm
I
serious.
actually thought. No, I'm with you. I did not choose that. However, I have been for years since I was a wee baby, very much influenced by the Clive Cussler Dirk Pitt novels, where Dirk Pitt has his, man cave / multi-car garage in a hangar, and
yeah.
it's great.
It just sounds so cool. I mean, you would be so lame renting a hangar at an airport just to put cars in. However,
would you?
Oh yeah, totally. I get this mental image of there's a guy at the local airport who has one of the few running P-51 Mustangs in the country, and he has in his hangar, obviously the plane in pride of place. And unlike many other people who own a P-51 Mustang, he also owns a second engine for the P-51 Mustang. That's on literally like a working slow motion display, and the whole thing is like painted up, and there's like an upper deck area with like seating and a little office. It's just like the fucking coolest thing in the entire fucking world. I like that image has stuck with me so clearly. Obviously, the god tier garage has to be in a hangar. Plus, so something about the optics of having that door open, and then like obviously can park the cars in like cool arrangements. It's just, there's just nothing cooler than that.
Okay.
But short of that, I do think that I would probably in my own dream garage keep the interior pretty much the same, because there are key features that I really like and other stuff that's just kind of incidental. For example, while being on the airport would, be the ideal location, you could fundamentally put the same style building almost anywhere. So
right.
Really, they're fairly simple construction. They're usually metal frame buildings. And your nicer hangars will have walls and be insulated. And so I think it would be something like that. But the one thing, I just feel like I have to get this clear right away. The one thing that I would never put in my dream garage would be an antique gas pump. I think those are the dumbest decorations ever, and I hate them. I hate them so much.
Too cliche. Like one person did it, and like everyone's like, "Oh, that was clever." Now everybody has one, or has to have one.
Right, and also fairly obvious.
And it's just, then there's like the 2/3 size ones that they sell at like your local furniture store, and it's just like, why, God, why are we doing this?
Yeah, I agree. I knew you were going to say that. I didn't want to interrupt because you were rolling, but like I was going to jump in and be like, gas pumps.
Yeah, no, none of that. But what I thought, the thing that I thought about the hardest after, trying to decide whether or not I actually wanted to say airplane hangar, was the floor, because it's so unbelievably important what you put on the floor in your garage. Like that seems like such a huge decision in the scope of things, because there's so many different options, and very few of them in my mind are good. I mean, Nick, you have like the tiles in your garage currently. They kind of like, they're like snap together ones, right?
Yes.
So how do you feel about those?
I like them. They're a little bit difficult to keep clean, honestly. Granted,
Really?
I haven't been the greatest at trying to keep them clean. It's been a while since I've actually like cleaned out the garage and like scrubbed the floor or washed it. But yeah, they were there when I got there. I didn't put them in. So the previous owner put them in, but I haven't taken them out. Just I like the aesthetic of it. And yeah, I'm happy with them.
Nice. I mean, I thought about the tiles. I've never really experienced them. So I think for the floor in my dream garage, it's either going to have to be a pure, a regular epoxy grip layer, which I do love and are very easy to clean, or a straight up sealed and polished concrete, which I think is just the most classic look. You gotta get a nice high shine on it. You want it to feel like almost like a marble adjacent kind of shine. It's really got to be buffed.
Yes.
That's the best concrete. Would you, along with your ceiling, would you in any way stain it? I'm a big fan of that. At my folks' house, they've got the washed, stained concrete, and it looks really nice. Yeah, that's something that I consider for mine. But
I thought about that as well. I think if someone was able to present a cool design that could be seen from, spoiler alert, the little overlook. Because obviously in this garage, if you have a bunch of concrete ground space, you got to be able to see it from above. There's got to be a railing upon which you can lean and survey your kingdom exactly like the lions in The Lion King. You want to be both Mufasa and Simba at that moment, but that's not important.
Everything the fluorescence touches.
That's right. Exactly. And so yeah, that would be like sort of like a back stair access. I think if someone could come up with a design that looked cool, maybe something abstract, not looking for like a map of the world or like the word cars, nothing like that. Just something that is interesting to look at.
What if it's like someone designs what looks like badging on a car, maybe like one of those old school badges, but instead of like a car brand, puts your last name in it and puts that into the floor.
I would label it certainly as your kingdom.
That would be interesting. I think I'd almost rather have that as a wall piece.
Ooh, okay.
On the doors.
Ooh, on the doors. Yeah. That's it. On the doors. That's tight. That's really tight. I like that a lot. Yeah. So I don't think I would do marked stalls. I mean, you look at obviously Jay Leno's garage, who may have infinite cars at this point, or the 100-car garage literally had like marked out stalls with, like the parking lot tape. I don't know. I don't think I want that. I think I want a more free-flowing experience. Oh my God. I forgot. Of course, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. So on your back on the ground floor, before we get into the other niceties, you need the full supply of rolling carts and drawers and a sink and all this stuff. I've always wanted a fully furnished garage with all with everything matching. I've never had everything match. That's an absolute must.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fair. Yeah, I have a spin on that for mine.
Oh, nice. But I think I want mine to be like a bright, eye-attracting color. I don't necessarily have anyone in mind, but all those drawers, they got to match and they got to stand out because, I mean, there's just something so great about that. Place to put all your shit, place to find your tools. I mean, I can only dream of that. I don't even have a pegboard currently.
Neither do I. I've got like plastic boxes just sitting on the floor.
Say right as far as my own stuff, and not borrowed stuff from my dad. I have some rolling boxes. That's about it.
So to go along with that, another must-have is a stand height workbench.
Yep.
That is so unbelievably essential. I can't believe that I made it through most of my adult life without having one. I mean, I have one now, and it's just the greatest thing ever. There's no point in sitting at a workbench at all.
Agree.
I would agree.
Yeah, makes everything so much easier. So yeah, tool storage, super important. You really do have to have a sink in that bottom area, because you literally can't get around the fact that you need to hit the Gojo pretty regularly when you're working on cars, or at least I do, because I just hate shit all over my hands. Yeah. And a 2-gallon of that. But I feel like that comes with it. If you spend that much on like tool shelving,
they'll give you the Gojo for free.
Yeah, they'll toss that in.
Your supply.
You better. Man, if I'm buying that much, I want them to throw in a year's supply of mechanics gloves.
That's right.
Listen here, random auto parts store we may or may not shop at.
I have lots of expectations.
Okay.
So
I'm digging this so far.
Yeah, one of the biggest things I saw when I was looking at, I guess just image. I literally just Google image search Dream Garage, right? Which didn't get me very far. You have to get weirdly specific. Was that most people who have overhangs in their garage, and there's some examples of this, will park the cars sort of under the overhang. No. I need enough space. The cars can be away from the overhang. You don't want to hide them in there. You want to make sure that everyone can see them, almost exactly like museum pieces.
Hey,
in my head, what?
Andrew, go back to the Nick lost you this time. Go back to the part where you're talking about the overhang.
I didn't hear him say anything.
Yeah, I think you two are separated. Nick, can you?
I can hear him now. Can you hear me now?
Okay, you hear him now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, good.
Okay. Yeah, sorry for the last. That was probably 20-ish seconds there. I didn't hear anything from you.
Oh, sorry, I had to get
just the idea of normally they park the cars under or whatever. Yeah.
So normally what I saw when trying to figure out this Dream Garage thing was that people who have overhangs or like walkable, workable space above the cars will park the cars under it. And that looks very neat, but that's not what I want. And in my head, when I was sort of picturing this, I know Tristan's definitely been there, but I was thinking like, again, another airplane reference, like the EAA museum, right? You come out onto sort of like this balcony area, and again, you're surveying, because it's literally in a big hangar, all of the museum pieces, as it were. And I think that's just such a cool optic for cars, for you to have them. I mean, there's an order to it, but it looks very interesting to just kind of see these cars. And that's definitely what I want.
You want that big, expansive view, that the aesthetic
definitely.
of that.
Yeah, for sure. And if there happen to be like little factoid podiums on some of the cars, I don't think that's the worst thing in the world either.
Okay. Are you going to charge admission, or is this just for your buddies?
I mean, sometimes it's not for anyone else. Sometimes it's just for me.
You're getting closer and closer to dad life. Oh, look, a plaque.
Listen, plaques can be interesting. Anyways, so
no one's closer than me. It's fine.
That's true. So now let's take a little journey upstairs. Let's take a look at the living quarters. So interestingly enough, and I have looked this up in the past, one of the things that it is very difficult to find is a municipality where you can live inside your airplane hangar. And there are many reasons for this, most of them being that airplane hangars are almost exclusively workshops. So you can't put beds in there. I mean,
True.
it's obviously a regulation that makes a lot of sense, but it is kind of disappointing in a dream garage scenario. However, it's probably a good idea to leave the bedroom out of the garage. So I think that's kind of what I decided that I would go with. You absolutely would have to have a seating area above your collection. You need to have maybe even a full-on couch just facing out, maybe like a sort of like a metal railing, spaced metal railings. You just kind of look out, and I mean, that would be your entertainment there. A desk to maybe do some working, perhaps a small TV just in case you want to watch the game or something. But really, the focus of this building, in my mind, should be the cars, the experience of being around your own dream cars. And of course, if you're filling it with the cars that you love, you should make sure that the space is focused on them, at least in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah. Down with that.
You would have to have a bathroom in there. Clearly.
Oh, totally.
Well, yeah.
At least one. I think go with a full bath, stand-up shower.
Yeah, so when you're done, you can shower before you get back to the house.
Exactly. Yeah, so I think... obviously, I don't think I mentioned this, but it would definitely have to be at least heated. I would be less concerned about necessarily air conditioning it, but definitely heated.
Oh, I think heating and air conditioning.
I suppose it is the dream garage, right?
Big
Yeah.
fan of air conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't
HVAC
actually
all the
have
way.
to pay for this.
That's true. I think I would leave it as an open metal ceiling. Oh, God. And of course, I forgot one of the key features. A speaker system. There has to be some way to get music in this place. You got to have that.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely.
Now, are you thinking discrete globes hanging from the ceiling or a wall of speakers on one end?
I'm thinking globes, and not only that, I'm thinking zones.
Zones?
Yeah, like Sonos style. So, workshop as a zone, main room as a zone, mezzanine as a zone. So,
Got it.
you don't need to have... It's so, in these days of modern technology and Wi-Fi, it's so gauche to have music in every room of your home. Don't you understand?
Yeah,
Don't you understand?
I got you.
I don't. The whole point is that the Wi-Fi makes it easy for me to have the same music in every room synced up together.
Yeah, but you want it to move with you. By the way, I don't think anyone's figured that out yet. Like the ability to move automatically from room to room with your music. Like it just tracks your phone
No, it
location
just
in the
played
house.
in the whole house. Yeah.
They should be able to do that by now. Come on.
It's 2020, people. Jeez.
That's right. Do one nice thing. Bring one nice thing from an imagined future to reality. All right.
Keep going. Sorry.
I think... no, that's all right. So I think... I'm trying to think... Was there any other super important details you guys noticed while you were building yours that I haven't quite mentioned yet?
I think maybe some stuff that was important to me, or like maybe more detail. Like you were saying, like, like it wouldn't necessarily have to be located, on an airport. I have a very specific location for mine, like in the world. I guess specific and not specific because I don't know where all the places in the world are. So it's just something like fill in the blank. When I get to it, I'll tell you. But like, do you have a, on the airfield is preferable? Do you have another location you'd like this hangar?
It would definitely be preferable. And I think, short of that, anywhere semi-remote that could kind of handle this big of a garage. I mean, obviously, I couldn't put it like on my lot here because it just doesn't, it's not remotely big enough. But I would want it to be, honestly, I would want it to be at a place that's other than my house. Like a satellite location, right? And if you got to go through a little code gate to get in, so much the better.
A gated community.
Okay.
Yeah. I do think that's key because, as much as it is an interesting thought to have a big ass warehouse attached to your home, I just think it's better in concept than it is as reality, because I really think that this is going to sound really weird to say. I really think the garages are like essential to home design in terms of the way it looks from the curb. And I'm not a huge fan of outbuildings at houses.
Okay. Yeah, see, so I took a little bit of the opposite approach for mine. We're not going to... It's going to be very close to the house. Yeah, it's going to be very close to the house for mine.
I want it to be an event. I want the whole thing to be an event. That's kind of, I guess, where I ended up going with this.
Sure.
Yeah, and that makes it more, I'm not saying like drive 3 hours to get there, but making the choice, right, to pick a car and come home with it then also becomes an event.
And then you can put that car in your 2-car garage or whatever that's attached to your house.
Exactly.
Not bad. So, are we gonna get into what actually is going in your garage? Like, do you have cars picked out, or?
I do. I picked out about a dozen that I think would be good. And I don't know. I think it's an interesting list. I was surprised a little bit at where it took me. But I mean, so, dream cars, dream garage, first one, Veloster and DCT, no surprise, don't need to even talk about it. Second one, C8, again, no need to talk about it. Third one is the first one that really needs to be talked about just a little bit, because I do have a love for the Viper, but there are so many different iterations of it and little special editions and this and that it can be difficult to pick one that I would actually want to own. But I think I've finally found it. And it's definitely the rarest one ever made. It's the homologation edition of the 1998. Well, they called it the Chrysler Viper in the homologation version. So it's the Chrysler Viper GT2. There are 100 in existence, or there were 100 made. Who knows how many remain? But they're so great because they're white with blue stripes, and they have the silver multi-spoke. I don't know how many spokes. It's a lot of spokes. Wheels with a big wing on the back. So they're essentially the Le Mans car. So yes. Let's see here. Yeah, that's what they won in 97. So this came out in celebration of that in 98. And it's perfect. It's completely perfect. It's definitely the ultimate first gen Viper.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It looks fantastic. The twin amazing. Blue racing stripes. It does still say GTSR on the side of it, even though I searched GT2, but
it does. I don't know why they named it the way that they did. I don't know necessarily why they named it a Chrysler. And I don't know why they called it the GTSR other than it's the continuation from the GTS, and it's like the race version of that. It seems like they were trying to play both sides, the European market and the American market, when they were naming stuff, and it just ended up a little bit of a mess. But that's kind of part of its charm.
Yeah, there's one.
The whatever name.
You were speaking about Mecum a little bit earlier. There's one on Mecum's website, number 30 of 100.
Oh my God, how much is it?
9,953 miles on it.
Wow.
Actual miles. I'll just read through it. Number 30 of 100, built to commemorate the GT2 World Championship. Stone White, Viper Blue, 460 horsepower V10, blah, 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 blah. Estimate for the bid. So estimate hammer price between 95 and 115,000.
That's not that bad. Okay.
It's not terrible. And then there's another one here on bringatrailer.com for 103,000 just straight up for sale, not an auction.
So get it now is what you're saying.
Yeah, buy it now for 103 and get it in your garage.
Yeah. I am in fact holding the model of that car that I own in my hand right now.
Model of the street or race car?
Of the GTSR, of the actual Viper GTSR or GT2 homologation.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, that makes the list.
For sure. What else you got?
Next one, probably a surprise. Basically one of the very few, not the only, but one of the very few old cars I actually like. I would like a Pontiac Tempest wagon. And I'm not going to be an idiot and call it a GTO wagon. I'm just going to let it be a Tempest because, God damn it, it's a Tempest.
Okay.
Not much to say about that, really. Well, I guess it's not currently in production because Porsche. 911 GT2 RS, love it. It's just the most amazing thing I've ever seen on four wheels. Love it. And here's an interesting curveball, I think. I would need to have in this big garage something electric. But the problem is I actually don't like any of the electric cars on sale for one of many reasons. But what I do like are electric motorcycles, at least in concept.
Yes.
So
yes.
The Zero DSR is a bike that's caught my eye since it came out. And I think it might be exactly what this garage needs. Obviously, it's electric. It's nice and torquey. It has a reasonable range, 160 miles or so. And I feel like that's the little tool around machine that you want to have now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to build this big building, if you're going to have all this space just for you, you got to have something for the wife too, right? So I think a Lamborghini Urus should be in there.
To haul the littles around in.
That's right. And also, I don't remember where I last checked in on this car, whether I liked it or not, but I have really come to like how corny this fucking thing is. I really like that it's so already. I mean, it's only been around. Has it even been out a full year? Maybe a year at this point, right?
I believe so. Yeah. I don't know if it's been two.
I was just thinking when we were at Watkins, was that the actual car that they had there? Because we were at, when we went to races last year, there was one where it was still the prototype. And then there was one where they literally took the prototype stickers off and it was the same fucking car. And it's like, oh, I guess that's out now. I remember we had that conversation as we walked past it.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
I think that's right.
It's been out an incredibly short time, and it's just the most overdone LA corny car in existence. And I think that's actually pretty cool. Plus, it's an SUV. It's off-road.
Of course it is. Jeremy Clarkson ran it up a ski hill.
He did. It can do off-road.
It's doable.
Here's one I really struggled with. Another ultra rare car that I've always, thirsted after for many a year now. The Lancer Evo 6, specifically the Tommy Mäkinen edition, obviously. I mean, it's the one you're thinking of right now if you know the silhouette of this car. Red, black, white, and red stripe down the side. Black seats with the red Tommy Mäkinen logo and interior, the white wheels, the rally front end. I mean, it's just absolutely perfect. And I mean, really, it could be any Evo because I just really enjoy that car. But that one has a special place in my heart because that one obviously was the one you could buy and race in Gran Turismo.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So, I mean, that's been a part of me liking cars for as long as I've liked cars.
But
so
I think we already discussed, though, no one's getting the Tommy Makinen edition. Tommy Makinen's family isn't getting the Tommy Makinen edition.
Yeah, no one's getting that. No one's getting that. Not even Tommy. Anyways, this next one's an interesting one because it's a car that I love and it's a car that Tristan hates. And because he is to his core a hater of fun and joy. But I don't know that I would need a space for an F40. But I feel like that's such an event.
I don't hate the F40. I just realize its inferiority.
Yes, you do. You hate the F40, and it's fine. It's fine for you to hate it, as you do. Anyways,
Go on.
I would want to, it's so weird. If I built this dream garage and filled it with dream cars, I'd want to have a space for the F40, but not the actual F40 because I would want to pick one. You know what I mean? If we're at this point, if we're buying all these cars, I want to pick a specific one. And I don't necessarily know the color. I actually really like it in blue and you almost never see it in blue. So an F40 eventually, but even that can be down the line. What else is in here? DBS Volante, classic, beautiful.
Yep.
The other thing I was thinking is if we're going to have all this, if I'm going to have all this space, have all these cars, I need something to keep up with the boys TM. Specifically, Tristan and his dunking or whatever it is. So I figure throw a Jeep Gladiator in there. Satisfy both masters, right? You can tow, throw shit in the bed. You can be stoked for Moab. And I actually, having seen it on the road quite a lot now, I really, really like it.
Okay. That was kind of out of the blue. I didn't expect that from you.
Well, you need something. If you're going to have all these cars, you need something that can genuinely go off road. And, trying to split hairs between, I like the Raptor, but I can't ever see myself respecting myself to drive that. Ram is kind of the same thing. That would probably be like a close second. Right now I'm really feeling the Gladiator. And just a quick last one. If we're doing all this, I got to put my money where my mouth is. And I have to have a Camry TRD. I said in that episode before that I do think that's going to be a future classic. Let me find out if I'm right.
Fair enough. That's an interesting mix of, you can see even the Camry and the Hyundai as more of your everydays.
Oh yeah, that would be the daily.
And then all the way up to some, like that F40 when you finally get it, that could be like centerpiece turntable shit.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm definitely thinking
turntable.
And then with a couple of plaques, that one deserves at least two pedestals and plaques.
Definitely, maybe some photos of it in famous locales. That people be doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a damn nice garage you built there, Andrew.
If only it could be true.
If only. We can dream. That's okay. Anything else on your end, Andrew, or do you want to kick it over to one of us?
I think I probably blathered along long enough at this point.
Tristan, you want to go, or do you want me to take it?
Sure, I can go. Sure. So we're going to start from the biggest scale in. So as I kind of alluded to with Andrew's question, or the question I had for Andrew, do you have a specific location in mind? And to me that would definitely be, this is the, mountain lake house.
Oh, okay.
I
so
see.
Yeah, so it's like, up on the mountain, view of the lake, house is up high, garage is actually down low by the lake. And, it's kind of its own separate thing. Although I did not specify equipment for this portion of it, I almost had visions of the front being where the cars go, and the back is kind of like a boathouse. Because, me and boats. But I don't know enough about like small power boats to really spec that out, and just didn't have the time to do the research. But I imagine some sort of, mahogany Chris Craft, some kind of high-speed power boat, maybe a couple jet skis, that kind of thing. The overall
mahogany Chris Craft.
Yeah,
those things are really collectible.
I know, like, and they're really nice for like just like putting around the lake on a nice day. Some of them even still have the ski towers in the back of them. You can actually use them as ski boats still. But yeah, so that was kind of the the Chris Craft was the sharpest picture in that boathouse part of it.
Clearly.
As for I actually had visions of enough land to end up having 2 driveways. One that goes directly to the garage, and one that goes from the house to the garage, kind of that kind of thing. And I actually had visions of it being almost like a racetrack, paddock garage. So kind of a long 1-car deep garage. With everything in its place and a place for everything. So each car has its own slot, and that's entirely walled off from the next one over. And all of the parts and tools and everything else particular to that vehicle are stored in its own little garage with it. And then actually because wheels are kind of wibbly and they go all over the place, weirdly enough, on rails, tiny rails, all of the generic tools, like, I need an impact or a socket set or whatever, that's going to be the same on all of these cars. And that actually rolls along behind the back of the garage, so you can just push it down to whichever one you're working on.
Is it like one of those
really
mining carts where you got to get in and like pump it?
Yeah.
Hell
Yeah. No, I imagined it would be far more smooth than that. Maybe a little electric motor, who knows? But yeah, you could just wheel it down to wherever you were working on the car, and you'd have all of your main set of tools, and then the weird Volkswagen Group wrench that gets the oil filters off. That's with that, or whatever else. The tool specific to that, the memorabilia specific to that, racing flags, signed pictures, that kind of stuff, all goes in each slot. And then, like Andrew, I kind of had a vision of this being, boathouse, visitor house, go hang out down there for the whole day, kind of thing, but still on the property. So, yikes, I know, Andrew, you don't like the outbuildings, but this is going to be one of them. Not attached, far down the hill, down by the lake, enough that it makes sense to be a separate building and not just an addition on the house. And I had visions of actually, we know that you don't like moisture coming up underneath the vehicles. That's how they rust out. So you want something like epoxy sealed concrete, something like that. But I had that actually envisioned as being under a layer of brick for my flooring.
Wow.
Just because, that way, everything's sealed. The bricks are held down, snug in place, but maybe not even necessarily mortared in, just held snugly in place, because then you can, lift them out to clean any oil spots, what have you. But I like the look of the brick, but it's a pain to maintain. So I'd want it to not be the basis on which this is all built, and don't want the rust coming up underneath. And then, I think there would be something because we're talking dream garage, maybe either attached to the rolling tool cart, or even just in each room, the sink with a small water tank, a TV, what have you, because it's the dream garage. Who knows if these things are even possible, but I'm going to go with that. And because I'd like each of them to be their own space. And then along the front of this building, there is a, like you've seen actually in a lot of racetrack garages, an overhang outside that you can pull the cars partially out, but they're still under shade, under rain, what have covered from rain. And then I have it. The idea is it opens up to a big courtyard where on a nice sunny day you can pull all the cars out, wash them, arrange them the way you want to, that's your show off, or, have all of the garage doors open and the headlights looking at you, all in a row. So that was my overall vision, was kind of a, down by the lake, away from the house. The, whole boathouse thing came afterwards. And then overall style, I actually kind of had a, to no one's surprise, Timber Lodge kind of feeling to it.
Ooh, okay.
Most reminiscent, but not exactly like, a little bit more timbery, unless just regular wood. But the garages at Mid-Ohio. So that was kind of the...
Oh, yeah. Yes. Okay.
That was kind of the initial inspiration. So, thinking, hewn beams, lots of stain, that kind of thing on the inside. And then each garage being basically, a shrine to whatever car is in there. And that's, Andrew, yours was kind of, a shrine to the spectacle as a whole. I love that. Like I said, I almost went with the hanger, but I was like, this is your dream garage. You've hand chosen each one of these vehicles, and each one is special and deserves its own special place. So that was kind of the thing that I went with.
Sure. I like that.
As far as individual materials, things like that, other than the brick floor and the wooden beams, I didn't get too far into the weeds with that. Obviously, there will be, restrooms. Like I said, full bathroom. I agree with you. If you've been in the garage all day, even if you're not greasy, even if you're just crawling underneath the cars to look at stuff, you're going to be grimy. Shower before you get back to the house. Do everybody a favor. So full bathroom, place to cook lunch. I actually saw some pictures of when I was looking at the most recent grill smoker that I purchased. There's a place down in Louisiana that specializes in full outdoor kitchens, where you've got the built-in gas range, built-in gas grill, smoker with the legs taken off, just on the brick surround, outdoor fireplace, and a movable sun/rain cover that you can deploy if it's too sunny, too hot, whatever, or raining, or reel back in. So I figured it would be, minus winter, where it would be super snowy, in which case you'd use the, less capable inside kitchen. The outdoor kitchen would be the key entertainment space, so you had people over for lunch as you then walk them down your row of fabulous cars.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I want all that exact same thing too. I totally forgot about that aspect of it. Yeah, outside and inside.
Yeah.
Came up with exactly the same thing.
So that's my overall garage and location. I did think a lot about some things, Nick, as you mentioned, but not about some others. As Andrew was going through, I was like, oh yeah, I could have thought about that. It's like even down to like what kind of furniture, and I didn't.
Me neither.
I'm still a child and not a homeowner. So I'm really a big fan of those giant memory foam bean bags. But who knows? By the time, by the time I own, my mountain lake home, 6-bedroom, 4-bathroom, 3-kitchen cabin, I might have moved beyond that, but who knows?
Nice. I love it. What's in there then?
All right. So we've got a little bit new, a little bit old, and some member berries and all sorts of stuff. So we're going to go with, I don't know, I don't really have a great presentation order for this, so we're just going to go down the line. So for, kind of not the answer to, but, my thing that my brain went to in place of your Evo, Andrew, is the new S209.
Oh, sure. Wow.
Yep. Of course.
Yep.
Of course.
And then right next door, kind of the first torchbearer in that regard, a full-on Audi S1 replica.
Ooh.
With all of the L'Equipe, Castrol Audi Sport stickers in that yellow, gray, red, white, silver paint scheme with the white 5-spoke rally wheels and about 8 million lights out front.
Hella lights, bro.
Exactly. Both the brand and the amount. And then you're going to have a garage. You're going to have dream cars. You may need to go pick up new dream cars. You may need to take your dream cars in for repair. And also, I'm living in a, mountain lake house. I might need to go drag a tree from across the driveway, what have you. I'm going old school for this one. So I am going to get a truck. However, I'm getting a 1948 Dodge Power Wagon.
Wow.
Because you want to make sure that you can never do the things that you would wish to do because your truck's not going to be working.
Oh, dude, no, these things are bulletproof. This is the straight 6 carbureted, drop a bomb on this and it'll still run because there are no electronics. Set off an EMP, no problem. Here I come in my Power Wagon.
All right.
Well, I mean, by saying carbureted, it is by default not bulletproof.
Well, at least when the carburation goes wrong, it's somewhat easy to fix.
You can fix it with a stick.
True.
That kind of thing. Right, exactly. So, I don't think it's any, this one has been restored. It is in excellent condition. Yes, if you just, let it sit for 70 years, then yeah, that'd be a problem. But, these things, some of them are like ridiculous, like $350,000 status symbols. That is not this. This is going to be, the property's work truck. The little bit of, member berries nostalgia for me. And I've mentioned this car before, the original 4.2 liter Type 42 R8 first generation. Mm-hmm. It would be in blue with the silver side blade. Of course, silver side blade. Actually, one that I had found actually relatively recently. It's something that I don't know might make some people scream. This might be might be something that makes some of you guys groan. But Speedcore Performance out of Oklahoma is rebuilding 67 Shelby GT500s. with a brand new Coyote, the 5-liter Coyote Ford crate motor, supercharged up to 900 horsepower.
Yikes!
5-speed manual, and the original metal tub is, the metal tub is original, but then it's actually fitted with all carbon fiber body panels. So it's the stiffest. Yeah, so it's the stiffest, lightest GT500 ever. And yeah, that's my kind of ridiculous. There's no reason for it. I'm just spending money because I do like the 67 GT500. But I was like, what is the oh wow, that one's an extreme version of this. So I went with that. I also felt like I had to have electric in the garage. I, however, do like some of the current electric cars. The one that I do actually like is the Rimac C2.
Sure.
The Concept 2, as the full version is Concept 2. But that one comes in a very, very deep blue with a black, like, for lack of a better word, swoosh down the side. And I think that's very, very becoming of it. And then how many am I at? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I got a few more. I also wanted a motorcycle as well. I am a huge fan of the motorcycle design firm. It's hard to call them manufacturer due to the number of bikes they make. But Keanu Reeves' company, Arch Motorcycle, sure. the KR GT1 in red.
Looking it up right now.
And then obviously there's got to be a Jeep in there somewhere. I did agree with you, Andrew. I wanted a Gladiator, bright orange Rubicon, of course.
Yeah.
And then, the only thing that was kind of left out was my, like you said, kind of like the, deserving daily driver, kind of surprises people. You had your TRD, and for mine, actually, it was going to be the Veloster N.
Oh wow!
I think it's
so bad.
Yeah, I saw another one in person the other day, and I think they're great. So yeah, I think it would be more than deserving of a spot in the Dream Garage at the moment, and then it'll be paired with the new GTI right next to each other.
Paired like it's,
if you don't
like
watch
wine.
if you don't watch them at night, they fight.
That's true.
Well, that's why they're each stall is walled off, so they can't see one another.
Yep. Yeah, you got to put blinkers on them too. At night, you just put little covers over the cameras.
Yeah,
but yeah. So that's my Dream Garage. Only technically 2 supercars if you include the Concept 2. 1 motorcycle, a referenced boat, a few old cars, a few new cars. I think pretty good mix all around, and something that would provide an interesting buffet for the eyes when set out in front of the garage.
Before
Definitely.
the interesting buffet for the stomach from the kitchen.
Right, from the outdoor kitchen.
Hell yeah.
That's really, really good. Really good job. I like that. All right. That leaves me to bring it home, huh?
Yep.
Indeed.
All right. So mine is like Tristan's. It's going to be an outbuilding. So it's going to be probably not as far away. I'm not imagining it as far away from the house as Tristan is, but it is not attached. But more like Andrew's, mine is going to be a little bit taller because mine has a second level viewing area thing as well. And I think we're going to start up there. So we're just going to say you're walking from the house down to this garage. And when you walk up to it, if you're looking left to right, you're going to see 5 double doors. And then on the far right side, you're going to see just a regular door. If we go in there, that is
doors.
if you go in the regular door, the human door, you just go right into a staircase that leads you up to the second level. So when you get to the second level, it is like a loft style. So there's going to be a railing to look down at the vehicles. But this is going to be, I'm using this as like my racing man cave. So there's going to be, so you're going to walk in, and you're going to have like a little L-shaped bar with some bar stools on it. So it's going to be a stocked bar. There's going to be a TV hanging over that, so you can put the race on TV. As you move a little bit further along, there's going to be some sort of gaming table, maybe foosball, maybe pool, maybe, I actually just thought of this to keep with the racing theme, a slot car track.
Oh, hey.
I think I'm going to go with that instead. I had pool table written down, but I'm going to change it to slot car track.
Yeah, there you go.
There's also going to be like a lounge up there, couch, couple of chairs in front of another bigger TV kind of hanging on the wall. In the other corner, you're going to have your sim rig for online racing, and not just like you guys, and not just like you've seen at my place now, where it's just like the clamp on steering wheel and the pedals on the floor. I'm talking like the full wraparound 3-screen actual race seat, like a legit, like serious sim setup.
That's a good idea.
Along the top, there is going to be a bathroom up there, obviously, because you're going to be spending some time up there. So, like a closet shower type of thing, like a smaller bathroom, not like a full thing with jacuzzi and all that kind of stuff. But that's back at the house. So, and then up there is just going to be, it's just going to be all old, well, not old, but all racing memorabilia. Like if you guys or any of the listeners have been into the, like the track shop at Road America, where you see like the vintage posters or the big, like 6x6 aerial, like drone photo of the track, or those carbon fiber track, maps that you can hang on the walls, like all those types of things are going to be up there. The table lamp that's made out of like a piston, all that kind of stuff. So that is going to be the upstairs level. So that's going to be like I said, there's going to be a loft, there's going to be a railing, so you can turn around much like Andrew and get a very grandiose view of the collection of cars that lay before you. So upstairs out of the way, if we go back down the stairs and we go into the garage itself, one thing I wanted to mention before we get into the cars is just kind of lining around the outside. Much like Andrew has, you're going to have the cabinets or the workbenches, the toolboxes, all matching colors. But what I wanted to do, the long back wall, so like under where the loft would be, instead of doing the cliche fake old gas pumps or the fake old oil logo signs, I'm going to make that entire wall a giant mural of license plates.
I thought you were going to say actual gas pumps.
just you wait, sir. Just you wait. But that back, I'm not just talking like the 50 US states, but from around the world, German license plates, Australian license plates, Japanese license plates, however I can collect them through eBay or whatever the hell else goes on, just make that long wall. So when one of those doors opens up, one of those garage doors opens up and you walk in, you just see a massive collection of license plates, and the colors are going to look weird and random, and it's really going to stand out. The floors going to be, sealed concrete, but underneath each bay, as it were. So, not each of them. Let me back up. 4 of the 5 bays, there's going to be grates as well. It's going to be a gentle slope because in between each one of these bays, I'm going to have like car wash stations. So like a hose that you can reel out all the car wash equipment so you can wash it, and then it just kind of drains down below the vehicle.
Okay.
Tristan, you mentioned you thought I was going to say actual gas pumps. So between doors, the first 2 doors, so like doors 1 and 2, and then also between doors 3 and 4, I am going to have actual gas pumps so I can fill up my cars in my garage. I don't have to deal with the pesky gas stations anymore. I'd have a full tank every time I leave the garage. Don't have to deal with the gas stations. I could, in this dream scenario, I could have my own fuel and oil reserves. Just like you would come fill up a gas station, I could call the local oil distributor and say, hey, I need a tank of this and I need a tank of this, and come drop it off. And I could have the same thing built underneath this garage like is built under a gas station. So I just have it all to myself and all of my friends who want to come over and use them. Say, Tristan, you bring one of your cars over to my house and you're a little light on fuel. Instead of stopping at the gas station, you can just fill up at my place before you leave. You too, Andrew.
Or before we head out on our adventure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Mine would be the last stop before we leave on any of our traveling races, any of our road trips.
That'd be great.
We just gas up and take off. So that is the walls and the memorabilia and all that kind of stuff. I like having. I thought one of you guys would actually talk about a gas pump in or near the garage, but
Andrew's got aviation fuel.
He does have aviation fuel somewhere.
It'll be near
his hangar. Well, if his garage / hangar is at an airfield, he can just go siphon it from somebody else.
I'm taking this.
So now we'll get into what vehicles I actually have in these bays. So they're not like going to be actually labeled, but they are going to be grouped together. So you guys may recognize, both co-hosts and listeners, from back when we did the car configurator challenge, when I started presenting some of these. Not only did I like the car configurators, but the cars I built, I actually really, really want. So in the first bay is going to be like the supercar / exotic bay, we'll call it. So right off the bat is the Sebring orange C7 Corvette ZR1 that I presented in the configurator challenge. I would want that car to commemorate the success of this podcast that afforded me this beautiful garage. So have to have the check engine orange Corvette. But of course, right next to it in that same bay is the Ferrari F8 Tributo. Andrew, I know we've talked about this before. Ferraris do look good in some other colors. You mentioned the F40 just a little bit earlier. In blue looks really good. Mm-hmm. Realistically, if I'm only going to have one Ferrari in my life, or at least the first one I have, I would have to go with the red. I would have to go with red and the tan interior.
That's fair.
because of
Yeah,
the
you have to.
mystique of the Ferrari red. If I were to be super lucky and able to get another one, okay, maybe silver, maybe yellow, maybe something else, black. But if it's going to be the only one in the garage, it's going to have to be a red one. It's just as simple as that.
Fair enough.
So, so the first bay, ZR1 C7 in orange, Sebring orange, and an F8 Tributo in red. The next bay down, and this is, what's up?
The Tributo. I maybe I missed it or something, but I didn't hear the name of the Ferrari that you would have picked.
Yes, F8 Tributo. So the next bay down, again, doesn't really have to be in this order in real life if this happens, but just as I wrote it out is give me the ones that are more like every day. So here's another one from the configurator, the Genesis G80 in white. Oh. And then the next one I have in here is I like the body style from like 20, I think it's 2015 or 2016 to 2018 Ford Focus ST. So my fun little manual hatchback in Kona blue, that real deep, not navy, but that real deep blue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good color.
So that is the second bay. The third bay is like truck SUV. And I am going to have a truck because when I get to the last bay here, you'll see why.
Go for it.
The first one in this third bay is going to be, again, from the configurator, that real deep Merlot color that I have on the Kia Telluride. So that's my SUV. And then right next to that, I'm going to have a 2020 GMC Sierra HD AT4 turbo diesel in carbon black with a gooseneck trailer package on it, or towing package. And that is strictly to tow what is in my last bay. But before we get to that, the next bay is going to be my classic car, my classic car bay. So this fourth door will have a 63 split window Corvette. It's just sentimental to me. It's one that, my dad had. I'm going to have it the same way he had it, white with the red interior. And right next to it is going to be my really dream classic car, which is the 67 GTO. I have a model of it in my room to this day. I just love the look of it, the stance, the stacked headlights on the front, that design, similar to Andrew the Tempest, actually, that you brought up earlier.
Yeah. The whole point why people call it the GTO wagon, and he hates them for it. Yeah,
exactly. So, or should I call this one the Tempest Coupe?
The Tempest Coupe.
So yeah, 67. What's that, Tristan?
Flip the script.
Yeah, right. Turn this. Maya, the tables have turned. So 67 GTO. They come in automatic or manual. It's got to be manual. So the H pattern 4-speed. Probably black on this one. But really, this looks good in a lot of colors. There's that. What do they call it? It's almost like a surfer blue color with like white interior that looks just gorgeous.
The one I have in my head is almost like a black cherry, deep red.
Or that, yeah. Excuse me, yeah, that too. So really, if I could just find one in really, really good condition, the color wouldn't be as important to me on that one. So I'll leave it open. I just noted black just because I like black cars. The fifth bay is going to be like a fully enclosed, like longer multi-axle race trailer. Hence the GMC Sierra HD diesel with the gooseneck towing package. What car is in there? I'm really not that sure. I can't just like go straight to the top and say it's going to be like a GT3 car, because that's not going to be in the garage at my house. That's going to be like at a race shop somewhere, being professionally prepared. But some sort of track day car, maybe an RCF track edition that I can tow to a racetrack, or maybe a super late model to run on one of the short tracks up here in Wisconsin, like at Slinger or out at Madison or something like that. It would go in that last bay.
Nice. I thought for sure you're going to go, but no, you're going full on.
If I'm dreaming, man, if this is a dream garage, like I'm going to step up to a race car. In reality, I'm super happy with my go-kart because I can still feed the need that way. But if we're dreaming, let's go big.
Hell yeah, man.
So that is my garage. It's race-themed man cave, complete with slot cars and sim rigs and big TVs and a bathroom and a comfy couch if you want to pull an all-nighter and watch like the 24 Hours of Daytona or 24 Hours of Le Mans, with SUVs, trucks, classic cars, exotics, a race trailer, its own gas pumps, license plate mural on the wall. We just got to figure out how we can make more money doing this so I can make this a reality.
Well,
I'm going to keep this sketch in the notebook just in case, so I can come up to a contractor and say, "Do this."
I want one of these, please.
That's awesome.
So yeah, dream garages.
Yeah, I think we can just wrap it up. I mean, we went on a little long last time, and I thought this one would be shorter than it ended up being. But
we have had a lot of details on tap.
Yeah, it turns out we really thought long and hard about this. We came extra prepared.
Well, I guess I think maybe it kind of comes with the territory, though, right? I feel like if at some point, if you like cars, you're going to think about the cars that you would one day like to own. And then soon after that, it will occur to you that if you were to have more than 2 cars, you would need a place to store them. And no one wants to put a Ferrari F40 in the driveway, for example.
Just under a cover.
Yeah, just in that patch where the basketball hoop is, like that patch off to the side.
Oh God!
Put it there; it'll be fine.
That Ferrari would come and take it away from you. It's fine.
They would.
You do not deserve to own one of these,
and they'd say bad things about you to your face.
They might sue you.
Yeah. Oh, they could sue you. They like that.
They've been known to do that quite a bit.
They would sue you for emotional distress.
Defamation.
And they would be right to.
Ferrari in the driveway.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is a good episode. I liked it. Yeah, we did run a little long though, so let's get the people out of here. But first, folks, real quick, let us know what you would put in your dream garage, whether it be cars that you would put in there, obviously, or memorabilia. Is there some sort of feature that you're listening and you made it all the way through this hour and a half and you're like, you dumb assholes, you completely forgot about? Let us know. Tell us. We mentioned how to get a hold of us. Socials, email, however you want to do it. So thanks for sticking with us today. We appreciate you listening. We don't want you just to listen. Like I mentioned, we want to interact with you. We already mentioned how to find us, get a hold of us. Be sure to also, please, leave us a review, preferably a good one, if you really enjoy us. Doesn't take that long, helps us out with the big podcast popularity algorithm, and that could help make our dream garages come true. Also, another way that you could help that happen is to just take a second and hit that subscribe button for us wherever you're listening through, whether it be Apple or Google or however you listen to your podcast. Just hit that subscribe button. It's free. You'll get notified of any new content that we put out there for you. We try to maintain a weekly cadence here, so you should be getting notifications from us rather regularly. If you're really into what we're doing and you'd like to support this podcast monetarily, buy us a garage. Or
a Ferrari F40.
Or if you're not in a position to buy us a garage and an F40, we do have a Patreon page that you could donate any little amount. It is patreon.com/check engine podcast. Also, there is a support button on our homepage at anchor.fm. So anchor.fm/check engine podcast. Hit that support button at the top of the screen under our logo. Whatever you can afford, whatever you're willing to, we greatly appreciate it. Every cent donated is put towards making this podcast a better experience for you. None of it goes back into our pockets. So again, thanks in advance very much for doing that. Gentlemen, any special shout outs before we sign off?
I have one thing that kind of came up today that actually really surprised me. I would like to say a thank you and an unfortunate goodbye to the Dave Damashek football program. It's a podcast that was on NFL.com for, I think it's been like 8 or 10 years or so. Like the show's been around a while. And today, the host, Dave Damashek, put out a little 18-minute episode saying that's it. They were in the 600 to 700s of episodes. Twice weekly, tons of guests and good football insight and funny and a huge, huge inspiration for the format of this show and content as well. Taking on, as he always put it, both football and the game of life. This podcast certainly would not exist without something like that, without a Dave Damashek football program. And I am completely stunned that it's over. So I guess thanks to Dave Damashek and Matt Money Smith and Handsome Hank Hodges and everyone who ever worked on that show. And we wouldn't be here without you. And his famous sign-off line, it's been a thin slice of heaven.
All right. Sobering. But yeah. I don't have anything quite so inspiring other than anybody who follows my personal social media, not the pods, but knows that I actually finally officially graduated from college for the second time this weekend.
Congratulations, Tristan.
Yeah, thank you to all of my various support systems, family, friends. You guys, hey, we got to get out of here because I got to get home and take a test. Let's drive all the way home from Virginia. That kind of thing. Everybody and anybody who's interacted with me, whether you know it or not, your interactions with me have been colored by this process. And each of you have been a help and cheerleaders and inspiration in your own way. So thank you for helping me through doing it a second time. I am proud for choosing to do it a second time because I felt like I had to the first time. I did not enjoy it the first time. Had a great time in college, Andrew. You know that. And how? But this one was, but this one was my choice, despite a full-time job and family obligations and everything else going on in the world. And it wouldn't have been possible without the rest of you guys. So thank you.
Congratulations, man! You did it.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. And I do remember the times, and folks who don't know, Tristan does all of the back end editing work on these episodes. So, between a full-time job and then we've got the podcast thing going on. Oh, and now he's also going online for a second degree and he's got all that stuff. He has a lot of things going on and he's, he very rarely missed launch dates of episodes and those types of things. He kept this thing up and running as our producer beautifully. So thanks for keeping your head down, dude, and keeping us up and running too. So
you're very welcome. It's worth the time.
So congrats to Tristan. I'm doing a similar shout out to one I did 2 weeks ago, I think. So kind of rehashing, but there's a good reason for it. Shout out to my girlfriend, Claire. This past week, midweek, in between recordings, she celebrated her 29th birthday. So very, very happy birthday to you, my dear. and can't wait to celebrate so many more with you. So happy birthday.
That's cute.
as well, the day was right next to Jessica's birthday as well. My beautiful fiance, happy birthday as well.
Oh shit, how can we forget that? And happy birthday, Jessica, as well.
So much going on.
Big week.
Everyone worthwhile was born in May.
He says
the man who was also born in May.
I have no bias in this situation.
All right, let's get out of here. Thanks, guys, for your continued support. We love hearing from you. We love recording this for you, and we cannot wait to speak to you again. But until then, take care.